Hey everyone, and welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're doing lace agate, and the pattern that I have kind of in mind is one that I did myself. This was the practice dance, I guess you could say. And I know that with many lace agates there's a lot more defined patterns and variations in it. And if you go look up some, they're amazing. So if you don't like my pattern, make your own. Go look up some pictures. But let's get started. I have a white, a cream, a dark Naples ochre. I have burnt ochre. I have Pompeian red, and I have dark red. And all of these are kind of earthy colors, and that's kind of what the tones that I wanted to go for. For my grays and for shading, I have warm gray number 2 and warm gray number 5. These are Faber-Castell polychromos, and that's an oil-based pencil, and they're one of my favorites. So let's get started. What I want to do is start with a little bit of white and a little bit of cream. What we're going to do is pick our light source and where our light's going to hit our stone. I think mine's going to be right up here because I like this idea, continuing with the idea of that I did on my practice stones. But I kind of want it up here in this area. And I'm not putting down a lot or anything like that. This is just a building of color to start with. You can't even see that, I'm sure. And then I've got my cream. And I'm going to go over all of it. My entire stone here. Because this would be a stone, not a gem. Since it's not translucent. So, just going to put down an entire layer of cream so that I have something to work on. A base color. And when you have the white down first, you can kind of see how the cream, even though I used the same pressure over the entire thing, you can maybe see that there is just variance in the color right in here, and it gets lighter. I hope you can see that at least. And I just like to have that as a guide as I'm thinking about where I want to put my lights and darks. Okay, we're going to move to our warm gray number 2, which is our light gray. And I'm going to put some down all the way around the edge. And what I was doing with the practice stones was seeing whether I was polling really, to see whether people really liked either the warm grays with this stone or the cool grays. And it was overwhelmingly the warm grays. So what I kind of thought about from that was that using warm grays with warm colors, which are all these, reds and oranges and more earthy colors, are all very warm colors. And so I think that is it's a good rule of thumb to go by. So if you're using cool colors, like, more bluish greens and blues, purples, more colors like that, you should probably use cool grays to do the shadowing on those. If you have the, luxury of cool grays versus warm grays. If you just have gray, then, just use gray. Okay, so I've got a little bit of shadow there, and this is the warm gray number 5, and I want to begin helping my stone to develop some dimension here. And so if my light is going to be hitting my gem over here, or my stone, I should say, excuse me, over here, then the depth, the deepest part of my shadow should be right over here. So that's what we're building. There's a little bit of dimension to help show off the shape of our stone and to make it pop off the page. And I'm doing it all around the edge over here too, because I want to make the stone look as though the edges are turning down and away from you. So if you get a little bit of shadow, we're saying that the light is not hitting this directly, and it's actually down here, and there's no light reflecting off of it into our eyes. So it looks like it's pulling away from us. And this is just the basics that I do for most stones. And some stones I go ahead and do the colors and then I come back and do the gray. And on this one I wanted to start it off with the gray and then with our shadows and stuff already built. And then if we want to come back in later on and add more shadow and more dimension to it, we definitely can. Now, I'm going to take a little stump and kind of make sure that I don't have any pencil lines. There's nothing on my little blending stump. I'm just trying to help smooth out a little bit. I've noticed that with the oil-based pencils, I don't really need anything other than a little bit of a push for them. Okay, so that's where we're at. If you can see, it kind of builds a little bit of dimension, kind of makes it look a little bit more 3D-ish. So, let's see. We're going to start our patterns. So, let's go with something fun. I had some little bumps in our other one. And this is my burnt ochre. It's the very orangey one. Orange toned. And you're just going to, just build your pattern, play with it. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't have to look like a real gem either, or a real stone. The patterns can look like anything that you can, basically imagine. I'm just basing this off of some of the pictures that I saw of lace agate, which is kind of what we're going for here. So, I did see that there were some fun spots and such in these rings. And I know that there's much more intricate patterns as well. But I didn't want to go too detailed because you can do that. And then you can show me your pretty lace agates and tell me that you did way, way better than I could, which is what we really want. And I'm just going to stripe this down here. Build up a little bit of a pattern here. A little spot over here. And then, let's see. Up here on my other ones, I'm kind of looking at them as reference as to what I did with my patterns. Just had some big wavy lines. Just like that. Nothing too ridiculous. But I kind of like the way that looks. Okay, so now bringing in your other colors. And I'm going to go with this is Pompeian red. Yeah, Pompeian red. Go in and build up your pattern some more and color in where you want to color in. These patterns are completely up to you. So, however you want to fill them in, you can. I mean, you could make this much, much darker or lighter. Or yours could have just, you know, like a big swirl and like a tree in with a bird. I don't know. Maybe it's picture Jasper instead of lace agate. But the one I'm doing is supposed to be lace agate, so we'll see if we get there. I really like this color. It's not a normal color for me. I like really, really bright things in general. So, I just feel like it needs more color right now, this entire gem. So, I'm just coloring over parts of it. I feel like it. Don't worry, it won't destroy our little pattern. We'll keep our pattern. We'll just make it a little bit darker so you can see it. But I just felt like it needed some more color over here. Probably some color up here too, huh? Let's just fill this part in up here. And this needs to be a bigger stripe. I like the way that looks so far. And then I'm gonna go get my cream. Kind of blend in a little bit over here. Because I was a little messy with this, and that's okay. Because we can always get our blender and make it really, really blended. So, going over here to my dark Naples ochre, which is kind of our super yellowy gold tone. And I want to just highlight some of the stuff going on in our pattern. As you can see, I am being super, super messy. But that's okay. Not everything in the world has to be super smooth and whatnot. Oop, that's the wrong little blender thing. Where did my little blender thing go? I don't know. Well, this one will work. I'm just going to blend this in. Get out some of my super messy pencil strokes. And then let's get our dark red and start doing some more lines. Really get some actual definition in here. This is where it's at right there. I mean, and your little patterns could be as detailed as you would like, man. Sharpen a pencil, you could go to town in here. By the way, you could do this with any kind of pencil, whatever you have. If you're using Prismacolors or something that has a very soft tip, make sure you get it real sharp so that you can get some crisp lines. Mark-Orphines are also an oil base. If you use them, you should be able to get a sharp tip really easily. They do really well with detail type work. And I'm just going to go in here and stripe the rest of this. And then, yeah, just gonna go in here and make a couple of these lines a little bit thicker. I'm not gonna push as hard. Kind of just want to shade them in a bit. then a couple of these down here. Fill these in. There. I like the way that looks. I'm gonna get my cream again. And I just want to go over this up here. So I feel like it was almost popping out too much. And I kind of want to give it a more cohesive feel. What do you think? I think we're getting there. Play with your pattern and just, put in what you feel ought to be there and take out what you feel ought not to be there. I'm just adding some of my burnt ochre down here at the bottom. Maybe around the top a little bit. We're just about there. Now, what you may see, or what I'm seeing, is that we've kind of flattened out our gem a little bit. And what I would really like to do is bring back some of that dimension. And so, I'm going to go over here and get my warm gray, the dark one, the warm gray number 5, and work right around here. Remember, our light's going to be hitting like right over here. So I'm going to work down and around over here. Just lightly bring back some of that dimension that we had, that we were starting to build. I'll go around some of this edge. I will probably be doing a couple more agate type stones here in the future. The near future. I think I want to do a blue one and maybe a purple one. I haven't seen any like really green agates except for like maybe moss agate. So if you have like a green agate that you know about, you should let me know about it. Because I feel like I'm decent at knowing my gems and such. And my video got blurry. My bad. But I'm not always correct. So, and I'm not always up to date on what gems are and what gems aren't. So, like I said, I'm just going from pictures and whatnot. Okay, that feels a little bit better to me. I want some more of this dark red running all the way down into here. I feel like we just needed some more color. I mean, I don't know about you, but I felt we need more color. I'm in a very colorful mood. If you enjoy gems and like doing them, I do have a group that we do gems in like all the time, and everybody shows everybody their gems. We are the Gem Hoes, and we're hilarious. And we have lots of fun, and if you're into gems and would like to join, I will leave you a link in the description. And if you didn't know, I do have coloring books, and I do lots of those. So, I do have a couple of gem books just for gems. And if you need tutorials on how to color those and more stuff, I will leave a link to my Etsy shop as well, because I have coloring classes that I've done for faceted gems, for bubble gems, for really in-depth explanations to stuff. So, if you need those, they are there for you, and I will leave a description link in there. Or leave a link in the description. I can't talk. Alright. All that is really left is to do our highlight. Today, my gel pens have not been working real great, so I've had to use my Uniball Signo, which is not my favorite gel pen. This is what it looks like. It's not my favorite. I do honestly prefer my Jelly Rolls, but this one will work for today. So, whenever you're doing highlights, make sure that you follow the curve of your gem or your stone, depending on what you're doing. Follow the outline curve of it. And then, okay, mine is really not great right now. I'm going to have to fix it. And I do this. And most of the time, especially with this, because I feel like it's really messy, I feel like I have to clean it. So you can use a regular pencil. I use a blender pencil just to make sure I don't have any extra pigment on it. But I use a blender pencil to sharpen up and shape up my highlights a lot of the time, because I feel like the highlight in the right place helps to define your stone, define the shape of it, define the dimension of it, all that kind of stuff. So you really want your highlight in the right place. It will help set off your gem correctly and make it look even more 3D. Like that. So, that is our lace agate. I hope you like it, and I'll see you next time. Make sure to make some pretty lace agates and any kind of other gem that you have, and find me and tag me and show me your pretty things that you've created, because I do love to see them. So, I'll talk to you next time. Bye.